welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design, where we pray to our own personal honeydew sun god for a better year. Praise the sun! This is episode number 62, The Noise of the Sun. I am the lone name game as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we look at the sun in the face and ask him, why sunsetting?
But please don't look directly at the sun.
In the case.
Don't just praise it. Don't look directly at it. We don't want to be responsible for eye damage. All right.
Don't you do it, let us do it.
Yes, we're professionals. All right. So in the docket, this episode we have Sunsetting is setting on fire the Destiny 2 forums. Were the old days really that good in Warframe? And finally, when does personalization in games becomes just visual noise? Or too much in this case. But before all that, we come with our disclaimer as usual. The discussion here is based on our opinions and our own in-game experience. Don't forget that everything that we say here could be wrong, could be right. Half of that we don't know. We like to discuss it. We like to fight between us. Yeah. So if you think any of our opinions are wrong or bad, or you have actually questions about the way that we think or reason about stuff, you can leave it on the comments if you are watching us on YouTube, or you can send us anything on our Twitter accounts, or communicate any way, shape, or form that you can with us. And we will take your feedback in strides. There is no problem. Yes. So, on with the show, my friend.
On with the show.
So, setting fire to Destiny 2 forums.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It is
2021. We're still fighting with Destiny 2. We still wanted to be a better game.
No, but it is setting the firms on fire. So you know what Bungie's doing now?
Yeah, I heard that they're reissuing the moon.
Yeah. So let's
gear.
So let's explain what's happening.
Yeah. All right.
So we have talked plenty about Destiny 2 sunsetting weapons and armor. That just means that they are capping the
power level.
Power level of the gear.
Correct.
To a point where it is not useful
in the later content.
In the current content.
Correct.
That basically makes like a lot of activities and places in the game basically used.
Basically relevant, yeah.
And that was done or the explanation that Bungie gave, it was done to make the balancing of the game
easier to do, yeah.
And the maintenance of the whole game easier.
Correct.
That was the main reason that Bungie gave for why this whole sunsetting thing was happening. People, so the new expansion came with sunsetting. People like Bungie promised that we'll have plenty new stuff, so that sunsetting wouldn't feel bad.
That bad, yeah, correct. That was the idea, right? And they have
the new expansion. Yeah, the new expansion, the new season came out. It wasn't really a case that we had that much new stuff.
We have new stuff, but nothing.
No, I'm not saying we don't have new stuff, but it didn't feel balanced. It wasn't like
correct.
We took years of content and there is a ton of new loot here that you can play with. You have some new stuff, but it didn't feel enough. Enough.
Yeah, correct.
And people have been complaining about the amount of gear and that kind of stuff for a while. Yeah. And now the solution that Bungie has is, okay, we're going to reissue some of the sunsetted gear. So basically what they're doing is they're taking, this gear that was sunsetted because balance and things and stuff. We're just gonna
put it back because reasons.
Put it back. And it's not even putting it back. It's just not like we're increasing the caps on the power level on the gear that already exists in the game. No. It's that there is completely new gear that is not completely new. It's just you have to refarm the gear as like the reissue version. And the one that you may have kept or deleted or whatever because it was sunsetted, it's still completely useless. So you have to go and refarm the same activities if you wanna re-get the same pieces of gear that you care about from those places.
Yeah.
And this basically set the forums on fire. Once because it is refarming all content for all rewards.
Yeah, so super lazy Bungie.
and that is still doesn't like, and it was basically people somehow complaining about the whole sunsetting, that it was whatever they did was not enough. Yeah. And this is the solution, and the solution is like, oh, then we're just gonna make you refarm more like the same old stuff. Yeah. Stuff from all. Yeah. So now people are setting on fire the
houses, chairs,
and now people are saying like, then what was the point of sunsetting? Like sunsetting was a bad idea from the beginning. And I was reading this like when I was looking to it for the topics for this week, like isn't this what we've been saying all the time? Like it is impossible that we are the only ones who saw this coming. Like
it's not like it makes no sense. We saw this when they announced sunsetting. We were like, all right, we say something like the only solution.
It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah,
we said first it's a bad idea. Second, if you want to make it a good idea, you have to put like expansion worth of content
to replace
it. Because I was thinking in World of Warcraft, like, all right, what is the bad? Like, yes, it felt bad that I have to delete my old stuff from World of Warcraft. What is the difference between this and what Bungie is doing? And it's just like, of course, when World of Warcraft replaces his stuff, it doesn't become completely useless because you still have the cosmetic size to begin with, right? So the bad feel dampens a little bit because I still can go with my current gear and check if the appearance of the last expansion really like, I still have it and can still show it that I did that old content in my appearance, in my cosmetic, which that just gives it a little bit. And second, the amount of content that World of Warcraft puts every time they cycle expansion is an entire expansion of replacement.
Yeah,
right?
And to be fair, like Blizzard has figured out, like after years of doing it, kind of what the right balance between how much is going away and how much is coming near.
But if you're gonna do something like that, you have examples to follow. You have experience to pull from. You can look and see how they did the first time they did it, or the fifth time, and learn the lessons that they already learned. But you did nothing of this. Just close their eyes, cycle a bunch of times, and basically tell the player base, refarm everything. Because we're lazy and we don't want to do new content. That's the message that they're giving us with the actions they're taking. Right?
Yeah, like the problem is that the whole reissuing all year, that feels like a lazy solution.
Yes.
Because they may not have anything, like any more ideas at hand.
Yes. And don't get me wrong. The content of the game is interesting. The new zone is interesting. The stories that Bungie decided to tell is interesting.
I'm not talking about the new stuff per se, like the new activities and the things and the bounty. So
it feels like the idea was good, but they did have the job.
I mean, this is not a criticism of the new expansion content on itself.
Yeah.
It's you have these two kind of different things. One thing is like the new content on itself, which can be good, and it's good. It's not bad content on itself. Yeah. Another thing is how they manage the gearing in the game, and that's the thing that's been rolling players the wrong way.
Yeah. And in
what I wanted to say. Yeah. What I wanted to say before that is that that now, like in retrospective, the whole sunsetting idea feels lazy. Like sunsetting for sunsetting itself it didn't need to feel lazy, because it was you're just taking gear away, but we're gonna put up the work and replace it and find new things and make it interesting.
And that's fine. Like
that's
in baseline is fine. Yeah.
But with these news, like, okay, so the solution to that is just reissuing all gear. That makes it look like the original sunsetting was just a lazy approach.
Correct.
I'm not saying that was the reasoning. It's just how it feels now. Like with all the pieces that we have in place now, it feels that sunsetting was just lazy. It's just, we don't know how to deal with this, so we are not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. That was the end of that discussion, because now it feels like they didn't have contention plan.
Correct.
Now it feels like they didn't have ideas on the bucket to deal with this.
Correct.
Because I'm pretty sure they knew this was gonna. It's not, dude. Like the people making the game are not naive and stupid. Like they know things.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they saw this coming too.
Yep.
It's just like we saw it and we're just players. It's not that
you don't require super intelligence to figure it out.
It just like they're just it was written on the wall. That's all I'm saying. So I'm pretty sure they, like, Bungie knew. And now, since the solution iteration, it just really feels like sunsetting was lazy.
And look, you can be lazy in a smart way, right? If you don't have, we all understand that if you don't have the manpower and everything else to deal with it, that's fine, right? Because the first sign of this was the base weapons. There's like kind of a collection of base weapons in Destiny, which doesn't have a proper expansion or something like that, but is the weapons that came from vanilla Destiny. The same with the armor. Yeah, I'm talking about like a bunch of sidearms and handguns.
There is a set of basic weapons in the game.
Yeah. And there is nothing wrong if they went ahead and make those eternal, right? So not rotating baseline, because none of those weapons are unbalanced, and none of those weapons are a problem at any point.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah. But they didn't even do that, and that was the easiest thing. It's like, yeah, just leave the base. Like, why? Because that's kind of the jumping point of the new players. When you go those base weapons, and those are base power for anybody coming into the game, and you don't worry about the old players, because they can still look for the perfect roll on one of those base weapons, and that's it, or just destroy it every time they get a base weapon, right? That's not the problem. That's not a problem, because all players, the only thing they're gonna play are the current content, but it would be nice for co-players, right? And then you are saving a bunch of content, a bunch of like blanket content in Destiny that you don't have to move anywhere, right? Base weapons and base exotics, right? And you make them eternal. That's one solution, but they didn't even do that. They actually reissue the base weapons when they started sunsetting.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like I have the feeling that they haven't done these reissuing things multiple times. Do you know where they do it? With the trials weapon.
Yes.
Because sometimes they cycle, and since they cycle in new expansions, the level caps change, but not for the old weapons. So you have to refarm the thing, and I feel like that's the approach that they're taking to a whole game. But it doesn't work for the whole game, because it is bad. Like it kind of works for trials. One, because it's the loot of weapons is really small.
Yep.
And trials only happens once per month. So when it happens, it is quote unquote special. And people are looking for it. But the whole game is not. Like the whole game has to work all the time under any circumstance.
Yes, correct.
So they cannot replicate that kind of behavior.
Correct.
Because I had the feeling that they had this reissuing problem or stuff before, and it's the trials one.
So that was the first sign. that something was really wrong and we're doing sunsetting. And from there we will say like, why would you do this? Why? There is no reason to do it. There is no logical reason. They're base weapons, right? I'm fine with you cycling out expansions, like content that comes with expansions. I'm not against it, right? But just leave the toys alone and insist there is a smart way that you can do this sunsetting thing, right? Why will you sunset the content that we're still playing now, right? It makes sense that you sunset the content that went away, all the Black Armory stuff, all the Menagerie stuff, all the all the content that evolved. It makes sense that that's sunsetting. I'm fine with it, right? Because it's gone away. There's no way to reacquire that loot, etc., etc. Right?
Yeah.
It's fine. That's fine. Cool. Right. You are in your right to delete content from the game when it causes problems for you. I'm okay with it, right? But the rest of the content that is left in the game, you have to treat it carefully, right? And this is just a mistake of how they're treating the rest of the content of the game, the rest of the loot of the game, the rest of the interesting activities to do, because the activities on the moon are cool. The dungeons in the dungeon in the moon is super cool, right? And they didn't do it with the with the raids. The raids are still relevant. The raids are left behind. They still give you loot that is not sunsetting loot, right?
I mean, because they do understand that these, in quotation marks, pinnacle activities should feel rewarding when you complete them.
Correct.
The problem is that they don't have. I also feel like Destiny doesn't have like a good. I'm not saying it doesn't have a good endgame, because it really does, because people enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have like this clear set of these are like the core endgame activity
to do.
A little bit at like on the style of World of Warcraft. Because we have raids in Destiny 2. Sure. Yeah. Those should always be relevant.
Correct.
And I thought maybe dungeons were gonna be that.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they left behind the dungeon in the moon.
Yeah. So
that was a cool activity too.
Super cool, yeah.
And I thought, okay, maybe dungeons are gonna become like that mini raid thingy.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I thought that was the idea. It's like the dungeons are cool to run.
I think everyone thought it.
Yeah, dungeons are cool to run. We run a lot of Pit of Heresy.
Yeah,
a lot, and we enjoyed every time we did it.
Dungeon. It's a cool place to try out like raid like mechanics and like new ideas.
Correct.
And they don't have to be like super good. Like they can dungeons can be used as a developing ground for stuff. So I thought that was gonna be. It didn't turn out because they left some of them behind. So now dungeon is just not really a thing. Like part of that endgame weekly repeatable content.
Yeah.
And the other thing left is PvP.
Yeah.
But it feels kind of then there is this bunch of content in the game, in between dungeons, strikes, the little caves that you go. Which name I forgot.
Lost Sectors?
Lost Sectors. Like all these activities, they're kind of a blob that you just go through when you're getting to high power level.
Yeah.
And when you get there, they feel like forgotten, kind of.
Yeah. And I feel like the fear of Destiny is that if you leave all those things open... Look, this feels like two things. One, that they don't want to deal with balancing the game at all. Like they don't want to, they are avoiding it as much as possible with all this sunsetting thing and everything else. And two, that they're worried that people are not going to play the last content because something else from the rest of the content is going to be better. right? That's the feeling that I get from this decision and this kind of stuff, and the sunsetting problem. Now, I feel they're insanely afraid that people are not gonna like keep going, and it feels like a battle of engagement of people, of keeping that people on the treadmill, right? Of like, do new content, go do your dailies, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah, I mean, it may be, but I don't know. Like that's a problem easy to solve, in my opinion. It's just you just make. You know how in World of Warcraft the last two bosses of the raid drop higher item level gear that you can only get those, but it's higher, but it's not that much higher.
Yes, correct.
It could be a sign like, okay, you want to make your raid, like the current raid, relevant. Make the last boss in the current raid drop a little bit higher item level, power level.
Yeah.
Not that much that is
absolutely broken,
shadowing
everything
everything else. Just a little bit more so that it feels, this is a reward for completing that activity.
Yeah, correct.
For completing the pinnacle thing in the game.
Yeah, correct.
Which is, again, is a message that, for example, the raid in World of Warcraft is sending to players. Is
correct.
Like, okay, these last two bosses in the raid, they're gonna give you a little bit more because, look, you made it this far.
Yeah, but the main difference on World of Warcraft is that with the baseline gear, you still feel pretty good, and you can do like 80% of the content of the game.
Oh no, I know.
Right?
I'm just saying, if the fear is that people won't play the current
then
content
do that.
or the most, you can just give a little incentive like that, like and you can show it. Oh, how did this person obtain this piece of gear? So much powerful than the rest. Is because he was able to complete it.
He did the raid.
He did the raid, and he completed the thing, and he got lucky because he got the loot.
Yeah. And that's enough.
It's those kind of things that come to mind.
Yeah.
Are they afraid of balancing? Maybe balancing Destiny 2 has always been
a problem. Yeah.
A problem, but I feel like balancing any game has always been a problem.
Yeah, it's the external struggle. We see it on World of Warcraft. We see it in the Division 2. We see it in any other.
So
we still have broken things like and it happens, and it's like, if you want to be a constant, like, it's the price that you have to pay to be a constant evolving game in this day and age. Balance is going to be an issue.
It is the price that you pay for being an RPG.
Yeah, there you go. Something is completely broken.
It doesn't have to be completely broken, but you have to accept that it's not going to be perfectly valid.
Correct. And that's the thing, right? That is the thing that you have to accept.
All you can do is try to change the balance from patch to patch, which I feel is like what WoW does. Like, do we have unbalance right now, for example, for tanks? Yeah, Demon Hunter is the best tank for everything. Everyone knows it. Does that mean that everyone is running that? No. Yeah. Is it the best one for now? Yeah. Is that probably gonna change for the next big patch? Probably. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're gonna nerf Demon Hunter. It's just everyone knows it.
Yeah, but they're the best. They're the best. They're one of the best melee DPS. They're one of the best tanks right now. And
are they gonna get nerfed? Yeah, sure. Yeah. And it's the same for healers. It's like, are still Restoration Druids the best healers for Mythic Plus? Yes. Yeah. Does that mean that that's the only healer that appears on the shirts? Not really. Can you complete all the kind of relevant gear and content in any healer? Yes, you can.
There you go.
Is there a best one? Yes. And it's kind of that mentality of, we know that the game is balanced like on a certain
spectrum of,
we know that there are gonna be things that are best. Like, are hunters broken in World of Warcraft now? A little. They're too powerful right now.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the same thing with balancing in Destiny. It's gonna be a little bit are there going to be things that are going to be
broken,
the best,
yeah,
and a little bit broken all the time? Yeah.
But the point is that not making that, like, I think the balance is the first point of balance strife that you have to try to go get is like not making your broken things as relevant. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not making them as relevant is it just in my head, it's just being aware that there is always going to be something on first place.
Yeah,
you just have to try to make the gap as small as possible.
Correct.
But there's always going to be the best.
Yes. And I'll argue, for example, that in World of Warcraft, in this moment, I feel like in terms of balance, we're kind of in a good place where the difference between the classes is not as broken as it was in other expansions.
It is in a good enough place that you feel like you can choose any class and complete any piece of content.
Yes.
Are you going to struggle with some pieces of content a little bit more than other classes? For sure.
Yeah.
But that's just the choice that you make.
Yeah, correct. So yeah.
You know, maybe... Yeah, probably Destiny 2 will benefit from having more, if not more classes, like, because I don't know if they're willing to put to add something to a Titan Warlock.
Oh my God! No, they're trying to open that up with the new subclasses, right?
But why not add another one?
Yes, I agree with you.
I know.
Yes, why not?
Okay, we're on the same page. Should they add another one? Sure.
Yeah.
But they probably won't. So they're trying to do the subclasses.
Yes, because the identity of they build the entire franchise around this three identity of tank, melee, and healer. Technically speaking, if you're technically speaking, that's what they try to do. Where Titan is the tank. Yeah. Hunter is the DPS and Warlock is the healer, quote unquote. Big quotes on that, and they try to and they make an entire lore around all those decisions. That they build the entire franchise around that trifecta. So affecting that is super hard. They could do it with the subclasses easier, right? They can just expand their subclasses a lot more, make that system a lot more flexible.
And maybe they will benefit from that to keep everything more balanced.
No, what do you mean? In what sense?
In the sense that it's like we have just, so for each what do you call it, class?
Yeah.
Right now we have 3 subclasses?
4 subclasses with stasis now.
Okay, 4 subclasses with stasis.
Correct.
At some point it always felt like there was one subclass that was better than the other ones.
Yeah, that's why they put the relic system in.
That's what they put the relic system to try to offset that problem.
Yeah, correct.
But maybe by adding more subclasses, they can make it so that you have more options in each class.
Yeah.
And then across different subclasses, you can see different combinations of best gear.
Yeah.
It's not you'll hope to see. Okay, is this gun the best sidearm? Sure, but it's not being used all across the plate. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is it the best, as numbers go? Yeah, but you play this class with this subclass.
Yep.
You can use something different, and then it gives more. It makes it feel more balanced because you have more options.
So, would you like a correlation between gun type and subclasses, more of a correlation.
Not necessarily a correlation, but you can see it that way. It doesn't have to be like a direct correlation.
All right, yeah.
It should come naturally from whatever the subclasses are doing.
Yeah, correct.
It like I know what you're thinking. Like maybe this subclass benefit this weapon.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm thinking.
All right.
But it's something like that should come naturally from the class design.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you design. You can design a class in a warlock that is definitely squishy, and it only works from long range.
Correct.
And the healing is not as good, but it hits really hard. So you want to use him with, like, you don't want to use him with, I don't know, sidearms because they haven't really
like submachine guns or something that needs close quarters to operate swords.
So you are forced to look into
the
so the subclass itself is appealing enough to use.
Yeah.
But then that kind of forces your choice of weapons to gravitate to a longer range.
But that will mean that, to make it more appealing, that will mean that you will have to put something in the subclass that accompanies that style. Like,
of course,
you have a proc that lets you do more damage if you're far away from the target or something like that.
It could be something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a proc itself, but like something that benefits that game style.
Yeah, correct. But that means that the subclasses will have to be more granular, as they are in the stasis subclass.
Oh, of course they have to. That's, I mean, you have to. Like, if you're gonna add more subclasses, you have to be. You have to make them more. Subclass has to become more. Yeah, more specific.
Yeah, correct.
And the design has to become like very purposefully done for something.
Yeah, and that will help them balance the loot that they give.
It could help.
Yeah,
it could help. If not balance the loot, at least make the variety of good loot feel more healthy.
Yeah.
Because it's not, what's the only good thing for PvP is that shotgun, and that's the king, and that's all everyone is gonna play.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Destiny feels like it or not, it always felt to me like everyone is playing kind of the same build.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
in
exactly
certain situations,
the same thing,
yes. Yeah.
But it's like like you built all the classes and all the subclasses in a similar way.
Yeah, and the easy example here is like, in the majority of the hard content, you will very much appreciate a well warlock, because he's one of the best healers and he's one that gives you good resistance and damage and blah 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 blah.
But it's too much, and it's like, and then you end up stacking classes that are bad. That's why the Owl Titan was so good for so long.
Yeah.
Because it is another world.
Yeah, correct. Basically,
it's basically the same idea. It's you know, I know that they have different utilities and different things, but
yes.
But they work because they do kind of the same, and they operate on the same.
Yeah, they give you a buff of damage and they heal you, or they give you a protection buff.
Or they give you protection, or they give you something.
Yeah, correct.
It always felt, or it has always felt like that to me, and that comes from we only have these 3 classes, and they try to. They're very generic, like the class design.
Yeah.
This is very ample if you want.
Yep.
Like you can do a lot of things, so they intersect a lot, like the 3 classes. So you end up gravitating to the one thing that is good for everything.
Yeah, correct.
And it's not that you cannot do other builds, it's just that one ends up being
the most reliable thing to do. So
the most reliable thing for some of the content, so everyone ends up playing that.
Yeah.
That kind of style of game.
So yeah, but for that you need a lot more granular.
Yeah, you need your classes to assign like in a more narrow manner.
Yeah.
They definitely want to fit more specific.
And don't be afraid, and because that's the same It's the same fear that don't be afraid that your game is gonna be unbalanced. It's preferably for a game to be unbalanced than to be uninteresting or have this kind of problem with loot or leave your player base disappointed or be lazy about stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I for what I see of World of Warcraft is like I'm happy with what I'm playing right now, and yes, it could be good and bad in certain situations, but I don't feel that it's absolutely stopping me from playing the game and enjoying what I'm doing, etc. Or losing interesting or not having all these problems with loot or places or content that I do. And yeah, it could be there was a bunch of super broken things, and it's still super broken things, like balance druids are super broken. Fire mages are doing a lot of range, insane damage. Demon hunters are doing the tanking of this life and the other.
And even in those cases, if you go and look at the spread of DPS across the classes, for example, for raid, sure, there is a clear winner, but the rest are kind of all there.
Close. Yeah. And of course, that affects popularity of the class because people want to play the best thing, but that doesn't matter. People are still playing your game, right?
People will still play what they want to play. Like it's not.
Yeah. Like
not because the tank that I'm playing is not the best means that I'm gonna switch now.
Yeah, but for example, and I'll give you an example. I play Fury Warrior. I play Fury Warrior in World of Warcraft. I changed to arms because I feel that I was doing better damage than my Fury Warrior. They buffed the Fury Warrior, and now I feel like I can go back to Fury. Even if I'm not doing as much damage as the arms warrior, I'm doing close enough damage to him that is fine. That I can play what I want and feel equally gratified about it.
If it is close enough, it will work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Put it in that close enough. That's the thing. And Bungie's having all these insane problems that they could like avoid, making a more granular system. And if they have the idea of the stasis from the moment, I hope they get that idea of granularity to all the other subclasses and start doing more work in there, because that may be the solution. More than worry if your loot design is balanced or not, if you're giving too much power on the guns.
It just feels like they have a problem that they don't want to deal with.
Yes, correct.
The solution is kind of disconnected from that problem, because the problem is they don't want to deal with balancing the whole game.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The
yes.
solution is, okay, then we're going to reduce the amount of things that we have to balance.
To balance, yes. Yeah.
And then you end up with this weird problem of, okay, then now you have a loot problem.
Yes.
And the loot feels bad, and you have this sunsetting thing.
Yeah.
And then people are crying out loot because it doesn't feel good. So now the solution is, okay, we're going to give back the loot, but none of that solves the
actual problem. Yeah.
or the thing that we perceive that is a problem that they want to avoid.
Yeah.
Or that's at least what they told us.
Yeah, and it ends up looking really lazy, Bungie. Like you don't want to do any work when you do interesting work, when you do the expansions, that sort of stuff. So we know that you can do interesting work, but you come across just lazy, man. And let us know. And that's the other thing. It's like, let us know if it's a problem of staff, it's a problem of time, if it's a problem of blah, etc., right? And we will get in the community will suggest stuff that you can have in mind when you're doing these changes, right? If you are honest with your player base, they're gonna help you. They are going to help you.
I absolutely agree with you.
Right? So yeah, to close out, man, but at this point, I'm starting to agree with you that they should just like shut down Destiny 2 and make Destiny 3. that you were right at the end, that we were talking with the new Beyond Light and the Vaulting and all the stuff. at the end of the day, you were right, Lucho, that you just prefer that you just finish Destiny 2 and then just do Destiny 3.
I mean, I still believe that they can make Destiny 2 work. It's just, I said that because I have fundamental disagreements with how Destiny 2 is designed. As an MMORPG. So
yeah.
So to solve those fundamental design decisions, it's probably easier to do Destiny 3. But I still think they can make Destiny 2 work for what it is. It seems like they're not. The decisions that they're making are kind of all over the place.
Correct. They do some good decisions, and then they did like 2 good decisions. They did 4 bad decisions. It's just a mess. That's the feeling that you get, right? That's the feeling that you get. Anyways, Bungie, do better, Bungie, please. We like your game. Please do better.
We actually do like the game.
Yeah. If we didn't like the game, we probably won't talk about it that much. Anyways, for our next topic is people that want all things come back from Warframe that were not all things, but they're now new things. And
I just found this interesting post on the Warframe forum. So someone was asking veteran players what nerfs or changes that have happened over the years to a game they would like to see.
All right, unpopular opinion, I want my old Ember back.
That's something that someone else said. They want.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with the dude that was like, we want old Ember back. Old Ember back. Yes, I agree. But I have very special love for that frame, so I could be biased.
And it's funny because none of these things are gonna happen.
No,
it's just an interesting exercise on to see what people want back.
Yes. The other one was the Banshee Quake. It was like, it's too nerf.
Quaking
now.
Banshee.
Just change it to something else because it doesn't feel like old times.
But you know,
I have really stupid fun with just getting to a map, sitting down, pressing one button, going to grab coffee.
But that's something, for example, that they're never gonna go back to.
Correct, because it was clearly a problem.
It not only was a problem, but that's something that is Steve and
they're avoiding. As a philosophy.
Not only they have avoided, they have come to a stream and said straight to the players' faces, no, we don't like that playstyle. We don't want to sign for that playstyle.
I know.
We wanna avoid that. That's not what Warframe is about. Warframe is about engaging fighting. All so right. They're just gonna stay away from that. Press one button and then go away.
All right. The other interesting point that they mentioned here was the more changes like linear narrative, because now we are on the cycle of open worlds in Warframe. And
the open world cycle is finished for what we know.
They complete the trilogy about the factions. In theory, the next thing that is the conclusion of the new war, and then after that, planes. No, what is it? What is the piece of content that we don't know if we're gonna get or not? The one with the big operator, with the adult operator.
Yeah,
I forgot the name. The tentative name.
Plains of the Weary.
Plains of the Weary.
Was the name that they gave it at some point. But the Weary has been. It is kind of on halt right now. So we don't know if we're gonna get that as an open world. I feel like we'll still get something in that vein, like that growing up operator.
Yeah,
it's gonna be open world. That part is kind of on the air.
Yeah, we don't know. So in theory, and that's the other complaint. We want more impactful narratives that changes the shape. We kind of have that with the first chapters of the New War, where we don't have, spoiler alert, we don't have a Lotus anymore.
We have that was very impactful.
Yeah.
It's just It's just that if you look like even if you look back on the Warframe history, the story moves very slowly.
Absolutely.
So
you have
and you get these impactful changes. It's just they never happen often, and they have never happened often throughout the story of Warframe.
Yeah, of course, for a new player, this feels like a super cool, very compact narrative when big changes comes, because you're going through the through years of content.
but not even that. Even like as a veteran player, when you think back about the storyline in Warframe, you think that these things have happened. Like you only remember the most impactful moment.
Yeah.
And then when you think about those, it feels like they have come fairly fast because that's the few things that you remember.
Yeah.
But if you really put like dates on them, like on real time, like on IRL timing, it just
it was years and years.
Evident that it happened across a long period of time.
Yeah.
So that's one of those sometimes that it's funny to me because it's okay, we all want more story from Warframe.
Correct.
But just by how they develop it, it doesn't happen fast. And we always get more like little bits of more.
Yep.
Like we get little pieces from time to time, and that's all we get. And that's all we've been getting.
Yeah, the sensation was we want a big chunk once in a while.
But that has never happened. Even for meaningful chunks, like
the War Within and
and that. Those big chunks were like an hour-long mission.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like that's a big chunk of story. It was an hour-long couple of missions. It takes you like an hour to play through.
Yeah.
That came like a year apart from the previous one and a year before the next one.
Correct.
So it didn't happen fast, and it is not a huge chunk of story. It's an hour long of a quest that you play, or a couple of quests.
You
played. That when you maybe think in retrospective feels more like more chunky to what it really is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those funny also complaints.
Yeah.
but I agree. I want more story from Warframe.
Yeah, we all want more story from Warframe. Yeah.
It's one of the worlds that I really enjoy. Like as a video game world, I really like the Warframe.
Yeah, the story is very universe. Cool, Warframe. If you put
the story is very interesting. It's just given to us like droplet by droplet.
Yeah. How if we were said like, all right, make a Warframe movie, what will you do? Like a 2.5-hour Warframe movie, what will you put it in?
Where would I put it?
Yeah. What chunks of narrative will you put in the Warframe movie?
I would definitely like to see the old world. The old war.
So you will start in the what is the name of the race? In the
Orokin?
In the Orokin times when.
Yeah, I just want to see a portrayal of Margulis and
oh my god,
and Balas and the whole conflict. That's what
and
I want to see.
The council of Orokins and the decisions with the and the creation of the golems. That's super interesting. And then the lost of the, and then you finish with the
and then the third act is the rebellion of the Tenno, how they overthrown everything.
So but because that's my question. How much will you do? Because there's a bunch of political intrigue in the Orokin First War.
No, but that's it. Like first act is the whole build up to like you have the Ten on the background, but you have all this political intrigue of the Margulis and creating the Warframes and the vessels and the stuff.
So you wanna start it off from when the 10-0 reappear.
Yeah.
All right. All right, yeah, just to put it in a situated in some point of history.
Yeah,
because when the Tenori
but
appeared, they were already on the middle of the war against the cyborgs.
Yeah, but before that, we don't like before that the war was not that like the most interesting part is when they started developing the Warframes.
Yeah, when they started doing the golems.
And the whole Margulis Palace conflict happened because of that.
Correct.
Like before that, yeah, we knew there was war, and we knew that that basically the King were losing.
Man, that would be a super. It would be like kind of like a samurai. If you put the movie there, it will be kind of like a samurai conflict, because in that time the Tenno had houses and all the teachings for balancing what they can do, what they cannot do.
Yeah, but I wouldn't focus the movie on the Tenno.
All right, you will focus the movie on the Orokin conflict, and
yes,
the Tenno, the secondaries.
But the problem is that doing it on the Tenno is that we play as Tenno.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You can like a mistake that a lot of video game movies make is making the protagonist character. no, making the protagonist in the movie like the character that we play.
Yeah. And unless your game is something like The Witcher or Mass Effect, where your protagonist has a clear personality and a narrative of his own, is not an empty vessel as the majority are, that will work.
Even in that case, the problem is that how people perceive like even if the main character has a clear personality, is not like it is not perceived in the same way and played in the same way by everyone.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's just that the connection is too close.
Correct.
And each person has like a specific idea of what that main character is, even though it's written in a specific manner.
Yeah.
The way that you interact with it makes you appropriate too much.
So you will make the protagonist Morghulis or Balas or one of those?
Margulis or Balas or one of them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, we know they exist and they are interesting.
Yes.
And it will be interesting to tell like their story, like the whole conflict of Margulis is interesting.
Yeah.
She was conflicted. She was working for one of them, and the
she cared and blah blah. Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah.
I mean, from Balas' perspective, like he's also that we kind of care about. We know who he is. And we have the Ten on the background because they are the central part of the conflict, but the story is not being told from their perspective.
Yeah.
That's what I will do. And
I like your idea. I will give you the money to produce that movie.
It will be a VFX galore movie.
Yeah, of course. Can you imagine?
Basically, an animated movie.
You prefer it animated? Would you try to make it live action?
I mean, even for live, dude, current live action movies are basically animated movies.
Yes.
You just replace faces here and there.
Yes.
But the movies themselves are basically all computer generated.
My question was like, do you want any specific like famous actors portraying Balas and Margulis? And the Council of Tenno. Yeah. And then in the Council of Orokin. That'll be interesting. I will take Cumberbatch for Balas. And man, for Margulis is difficult. It's like, what female actor is closer?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like Yeah, but definitely Cumberbatch for Balas.
Sure.
Yeah.
or one of the beautiful Chris's.
Or one of the beautiful Chris's.
No.
Yeah. But
I'll make Aubrey as Margulis.
Who?
Aubrey Plaza.
Audrey Plaza as Margulis. Oh my God, Jesus!
It'll be fun.
That'll be fun and weird, but it will probably work.
She's a really good actor.
Yeah, she's a really good actor. The thing is, like, Margolis have to have a more motherly sense.
Like Aubrey Plaza made like a terror or like horror movie not long ago. It was, and she was playing like a mom. It was a very good movie. So
Really?
Very good.
I have to check it out. So if you say that she works like a mom, she gives you that vibe, I will believe you.
It will be interesting. And
Yeah.
I like her acting style.
There you go. So we have Cumberbatch and Aubrey Plaza.
That's a weird pairing, but yeah.
And probably we'll have a couple more like cameos actors in the Orokin Council, which are the main thing that they interact with. Which there is a bunch of space there because we actually don't know a lot about the Orokin Council.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It will be interesting.
But anyways, coming back from from our tangent of making a Warframe movie.
Yeah.
You have to do this. You have to give us a Warframe movie now. Especially for that time frame, from the setup of the game. From the setup of the First War. That would be super cool point in which to develop some lore.
That would be really cool. What else could you do?
In the narrative, you can try to, if you were trying to do it in modern Warframe, you could do Till the War Within in 2 parts.
You could. I wouldn't touch the main quest too again.
You want to touch the main quest? Then what will you do in current Warframe?
Like a political thriller around the corpus.
Oof.
Like Nefanio and all that people.
Yeah. You can do a horror. You can do a horror movie with the man on the wall.
Like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing.
Okay.
No, that'll be interesting. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Or like like something like that. That kind of thriller, like drama.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I can imagine like a body horror movie with the infested with the I forgot the name of the faction.
Infested.
Yeah, with the infested. You can do a body horror movie with the infested and the narration of the Chosen, which was the kid that couldn't get infested.
You could.
Yeah, you could do a body horror movie with an infestation.
The problem is that body horror are for the most part like B movies.
I know. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it.
You can do it, but I'm
or you can
thinking,
do a psychological horror with the man in the wall narrative too.
Again, I wouldn't touch the quests.
Fair enough. You want to touch the main quest.
It is a bad idea. People have a lot of attachment to those.
Yeah, you're right. It
is a bad idea.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the mistake that
it has to be super, super well done to actually be decent. And
even if it is well done, it won't satisfy.
Yeah, it's too much effort for
hardcore players.
I know.
It's a bad idea. It just don't do it.
Yeah, and the universe, the Warframe universe is big enough that you could tell any kind of story without touching the main. You can reference the main beats. You can always reference the main things that happen on the universe, but
you can even have big characters like Nefanio.
Yeah.
Like he's a well-known villain, like big character in the game.
Yes.
And then he can appear here and there, and then he can be involved, like big overseeing presence.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that may work. Again, is as I have always said, like I think a video game movie works better if it is in the universe, but it's not part of the main game.
Yeah. I will agree with that, and I got the feeling that's why Sonic the Hedgehog movie was kind of successful.
Yeah, it was successful. That's why Detective Pikachu was successful.
Yeah, that's why Detective Pikachu.
It's like an obscure game. It was kind of like the Pokemon universe.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to
do with the main stories
with
or
the Pokemon series.
Correct. Yeah.
But everyone it's Pikachu, so everyone recognizes it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
And you get other Pokemon, so it's like, oh, cool. It's telling its own tale.
And I think that's the thing, right? That's the thing. You can make references to the main thing, but not operate inside the main thing.
Yeah, it's just another story that makes the world of that franchise bigger.
Yeah.
That's why those things. That's why the few video game movies that work because they are movies on their own. And also, to be fair, I mean, and not in detriment of the work that DE has done, but that probably the narrative around on Warframe itself or the game, is not it wasn't developed with like the narrative pacing that a movie required.
Yep, I agree with you.
So trying to
translate from one or the other
out of that, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, I could suffer a lot. Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't mean that D is doing a bad job with the story of Warframe. Just you develop it for a video game that it's been out there for years and years, and it's gonna be out there for years.
Yep.
That means that the pacing is different.
Absolutely.
Which is again something that video game movies struggle is with the pacing of the story that they're trying to tell, because they borrow things that are written for a different type of pacing than movies.
Yep, 100% agree with you. Yeah. So do you miss anything? Coming back to the main topic, do you miss anything from the old Warframe that you wish was reverted? I don't. I think Warframe is in a very good state.
I think it's a very good state. I saw something interesting. Someone was mentioning like the Nightwave nerf.
Yeah.
And I know I know what they mean, and is that Nightwave was supposed to be this like seasonal thing that will only last for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And the current Nightwave has been going for way too long.
Okay, yeah.
It was in part for the whole pandemic going in the world.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like some of the developing in the slow a lot because of that.
And they already have a very tight developer.
They have a very tight schedule and resources. But I feel what this person means. It's just that we need to like it used to feel very dynamic.
Yep.
Now since the current one has been out for so long, it's feeling stale.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it needs
needs a refresh.
And I know that it happened because of other reasons, but it needs
nevertheless needs a refresh,
It needs a refresher. I know there are a lot of complaints and a lot of comments about different frames.
Yeah, that's the usual. I like my toy as it was before.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah. I miss the old Ember and the old Banshee, but no.
There was also an old Limbo build to nuke with its 4. It was not as static, but it was still a nuke build.
Yeah.
It basically got nerfed. What other? There are also a lot of people mention weapons.
Yeah.
But again, weapon balancing.
Weapon
the game has enough weapons that it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, weapon balancing in Warframe at this point is like, you like the weapon? Yes. Can it work with a frame? Yes. All right, go ahead. Find some insane ribbon from it if you are that thirsty for the weapon.
You can make them work.
Yeah.
and it just if you look at this, like a lot of the changes that people don't like from Warframes is that they definitely have to move away from the lazy one ability keeps everything around.
Yeah.
They have definitely moved away from that.
Absolutely.
Which I'm very grateful for.
I agree with you.
That doesn't mean that I didn't use some of those builds at some point.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's better if we don't have those lazy nuke everything in a room.
Yeah, I agree with you. I miss them, but yes, you're right. It's a better way of design.
I use some of them. I don't really miss them that much. I don't know. I really feel like the more dynamic the gameplay in Warframe is,
the better. Yeah.
The better for the game as a whole.
Yeah, correct.
Since again, for me, the strongest point of Warframe is the movement.
Yeah.
And if you have too many frames that basically nullify you moving around, kind of
makes the whole game mood. Yeah.
There are also some old people wanting to get back the old relic system, the key system.
The key system
to get in prime parts. We never play with it. Because
right.
that before the relics existed, the way that it worked, it was imagine like a tower system.
Like a what?
So you like a tower, like every player would have a key.
Yeah.
And you will select the mission. It was one like an endless mission.
All right. Yeah.
So you would complete the mission. So for example, let's say it's a defense. You complete the 5 waves of defense.
All right.
Then it gives you the option to choose a reward, and it will be the same reward for everyone. Or keep playing the mission so you can get a better reward. And you could keep the better or different roll on that key, basically.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
So you could keep doing and basically, you know how the relics have priority now.
Yeah.
So the chances basically were changed depending on how many cycles of the mission have you completed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So if on the first cycle only gives you a common reward. So for rotations would give you the uncommon, or give you better the chance for the uncommons, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, of course, I get it.
So like that system encourage
longer runs, endless mode
like
runs.
Stupidly long runs for people to roll for 100%
to get closer to 100% chance.
It was never like the chances were capped still.
Yeah, of course.
Like there was no point, but it was. But for example, you could keep rolling until you get the thing that you wanted.
Yeah. Oof! No, that sounds terrible.
A lot of people like it because they felt like they had more control, but it sounds off.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people who play with that system wanted that back.
Yeah.
It's still one of the things that some people from time to time bring back to the table.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the whole key system.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't think that's the right fit for Modern Warfare. To be honest.
All right. Any last thought in this thematic? I think everything that Warframe has done is been for the better of the game, in my opinion.
I think for the most part it's fine. Warframe struggles with the balance of the game. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's still a game in that everything is so overpowered that you can make anything work.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with the game in its state.
Yeah, me too. All right, and finally, when does personalization or customization of your stuff become visual noise? So it's a question of when too much customization becomes horrible.
Do you know how now we have 2 energy colors in Warframe?
Yes.
So basically, I found the right post that is suggesting that we do the same thing for weapon muzzle flashes and the weapon effect. That we can change the color of the. That we can have this dual color thing for weapon effects and flashing.
Why? Like the frames use their abilities often enough. Right?
Like I get it. Is it more personalization?
Yes.
Yes. Is it? Have we always advocated for that? Yes. But then you see these people running around with Warframe with completely insane, like vibrant colors and different colors for everything. And it just sometimes that's pink flying all over the place with red accents and purple other stuff. Too much. It's noisy, and Warframe is already a noisy game.
Warframe is already a very noisy game, yeah. Especially because you can spawn abilities and you have explosions, you have a lot of enemies with different stuff. You have effects of all the different abilities in all the different colors of the rainbow.
I know.
On top of that, you have like all the shit that the frames can have on top of them. Dangly beats, lights, chest pieces.
Everything.
It's like for me, Warframe like is in that line when you can have like very noisy stuff, but it's not that bad for what you do in the game. But I feel like if you go a little bit more beyond of that, you start to get blind.
I feel like Warframe is walking that fine line of it's super noisy but playable.
Yeah.
And I feel like anything that is not carefully designed will tip the balance to this is just noise.
Yes.
Like pure unaltered color noise on the screen.
Yeah, and that's what I say like, and this is when I say like I praise the Warframe devs for very carefully curating what cosmetics they allowed in the game. To not letting go too far from the pre-established art styles and not drifting too exaggerated in points. But they're still giving some freedom on it. But yeah, it's a very fine line that I feel like the devs have made the effort to not break it.
Absolutely, they do an amazing job at curating the style of the game with the whole player created skins.
Yeah,
they do a very, very good job at curating basically a style of the game.
Yep.
But also like a toning down like the effects. Like you see sometimes like this concept art with like that they look amazing. They have energy all over the place and stuff. And then people sometimes complain when then they come in game, they're very toned down. And it's like, dude, if you have ever tried to do like a 4 frames farm in animation when you're farming and spamming abilities, you will appreciate it. That you can actually see what you're trying to do at points. It is necessary to tone down some of the things.
Yeah.
And they do a very good job at doing it. And
yes. Yeah.
But I just saw this thing. I thought it's a good idea on paper.
Yeah.
Because it's just more of the things that we like from Warframe.
Correct.
But it's one of those things that is definitely like in practice.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you think about it, you have like weapons. You have weapon effect, melee weapons effect that interact with some abilities that cause more energy noise. On top of like area effects that a lot of Warframe has. And the weapon explosions and that sort of stuff has their own effects with their own lighting and that sort of stuff.
Like all the
enemies and all the enemies and the type of energies, plus the collectives in the floor. No. Like we are on that line. And you start to feel, I insist, you start to feeling when you're trying to do an endless run for reasons, or you're trying to do like a long run when you want to be spamming things in certain points and kill it up like masses of enemies, you start to feel it. You start to, I don't know what's happening.
And there are a lot of frames that have big area of effect, abilities that are like, that if you're not careful with the color choices, they're very noisy.
Yes.
And you run into players like with Neshas putting green fire on the ground that it's like, dude, like a bright green is like, dude.
Yeah.
Turn it down. It just
I cannot see anything.
Or like Noah can be bad if people are not careful with the particles.
With the particle current.
Amber with the fire can do that as well.
Yeah.
Like there are just a lot of friends that have a lot of area of effect things that can be.
Of course, he helps the coolness of the game, but at some point
it does. But you have to balance cool against still a video game.
I guess still be able to see what you're doing.
Yeah, and I don't know, like if you have noticed Warframe, like the base design of it, it's very, I don't want to say toned down because that's not what I mean, but like the color palettes for some of the maps are very uniform. So all these things pop a lot whenever they fall out of the usual.
Yep.
It can just be a lot of color in your face.
Yeah, correct.
But like each map is very uniform. So if you go to one of the new Corpus maps, they're very beautiful, but they're very uniform. It's just very gray and bluish.
Yeah, gray and bluish. Yeah,
purplish, and that's kind of the palette. And for a reason, it's good design.
Yes. Yeah. And it makes good contracts because it takes out the contracts of your frame against those toned down colors.
It is like they work with a reuse palette for a reason. It just serves a purpose, not because they're lazy. And again, if you go to the Corpus things, it's between the greens and browns and that kind of.
Yeah, and in the infested are more reds and blacks.
Red, very dark gray.
Yeah, very reds, black. Sometimes yellows.
The yellows are mostly accents.
Yeah.
The same as the reds are mostly. It's a very dark aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's done on purpose. And then you have these frames which I've done running around with bright green.
Yeah, I know, fuchsia. Like pink and
I've done it, and it's like it pops, but it's very noisy.
Correct.
So I was just thinking, like, you have to really appreciate the people that actually design the game, like the designers that work really hard into keeping it playable.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to see what you're doing in the game and actually understand.
It is hard work.
And on top of that, with the speed of the game, and you can have like blur effects and everything else, man.
On top of that.
Yeah, on top of everything else.
On top of that, the game is played at a high speed.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes too much.
Yeah, I think Warframe doesn't need any more help. And then in the visual noise department.
No, and like, I think the people who do it, like the designers at do a very good job, but the artists at do already a very good job at keeping it interesting enough.
Yeah.
While still managing the visual noise level.
Correct. I agree with you.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think we don't need any more visual noise in Warframe. It's fine where it is.
Is there some type of customization that you would like to see that is not in game?
I would like small effects on the frame.
Like
like I don't know, like from Ember, like fire coming out of some places of her, like.
I mean, some skins have that.
Yeah, it's like that's it. That's all I want. A little bit more like small effect details on the actual frames, not on the weapons or anything like that.
Yeah, the problem is that I think those are for the most part tied to like skins.
Yeah. But I prefer to see that a little bit more naturally on the normal frames.
It would, but
like at least in a small thing like eyes,
I
exhaust or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that I'll say it won't happen because that's the selling point.
For the skins, I know.
So it's one of those things that you
yeah.
keep the basic Warframes very toned down, very
very
basic.
Very basic, yeah.
Because, like it or not, they are still trying to sell you skins.
Yeah. that would be.
And I like the premium skins and the Tenogen, like they allow a lot of
that stuff.
A lot more like effects.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like I would like that kind of style be acquired somewhere in the game beyond the Tenogen, but that's another type of discussion.
Nah, it's a monetization model of the game.
Yeah, I understand.
That's one that I kind of agree with where you're coming from, but it's in my mind, it's they still have to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
Like at least they're not selling you stuff like putting ads in between the missions. Or
yes.
They need to market the stuff that they make, and it's just that has effects. So
that's the market. Yes, I agree with you.
I mean, like it or not, it's still a business. They still have to make money somehow.
Will you like to see anything extra?
I would like to see a lot of things, but it's and not customization way.
Yeah.
Like for example, one can argue, even though companions and pets are kind of different now, like companions and pets for the most part are a cosmetic choice nowadays.
Yes.
Even though Kawats and
they give you a little bit of power, but
they have different abilities and stuff. For their main functionality, they are basically cosmetic choice.
Yep.
So I would like to see more things like I don't want only dogs and cats. I want a raccoon.
A raccoon.
I want a bird, for example.
Ooh, yeah, bird.
Things like that, that are kind of.
But they're slowly expanding in that side. We have like robots, and what is the one from Daimos?
We have infested couriers and infested cars from Daimos. I know, but like that's the kind of thing that I.
And you
like,
want
because
more
I like
variety on companions, basically.
Because
not in the cosmetic, but in the form.
Yeah, but it ends up being like how it ends up being chosen is basically a cosmetic choice more than an actual a utility choice, because they have more or less the same utility.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, so a bird or a raccoon or something like that. It could be robotic or not. It doesn't matter.
It could be organic. It could be robotic. I really like the organic. Like I like a lot of the organic wildlife in the game. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
You know, like I think, for example, Fortuna has a lot of really cool, like the things that you capture with conservation.
Yeah.
You know, like companions like that will be very cool.
I agree with you.
That's the kind of thing that I do desire. More than that, I have heard people saying things like
we want hairstyles.
They would like to hairstyles that we don't see. I don't mind them really that much because we don't see operators that often.
Yes. I was joking about putting hairstyles on frames, but okay. Like I want my Ember with an afro. I don't know.
I mean, that's basically what the different helmets do.
I know. You're joking. We have a lot, like Warframe has a lot of bases covered where.
No, but what I was gonna say is that some people desire to have like more control over the basic, what is the name, pattern, like coloring pattern for the Warframes.
Yeah.
Because they come predefined for each skin, basically.
Yeah. From where the colors appear and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That has a name. I forgot the technical name for that thing.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So some people like to manage that better, like have more control or that. But again, that's one of the things that I see why they don't do it, and that's in part to sell
the skins again.
Premium skins.
Yeah. Because those have like different materials on the skins and different like color. More interesting control. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but for example, if you look at the basic Scaling, he has basically like one of the colorings is basically the whole thing. It changes the like one of the colors change basically the color in the whole frame.
Yeah, and then you have like a couple accents and that's it, and then the energy thing. Yeah.
So some people like to change that, but again, that's probably one of those things that is there to sell stuff, like not just as a selling tool, but it's toned down in quotation marks.
Yeah. To make
because the premium skins are more interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
So again,
all right.
This is a free-to-play game. We cannot.
You can have everything for free.
You have to draw a line somewhere, and
correct.
They are still selling you skins.
In Warframe, draw the line correctly, so leave them alone.
I mean, for the most part, they don't really.
Yeah.
Like I see where they're pushing people to spend money.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with where they do it.
Yeah.
Which is for the most part in these cosmetics of I wanna dress up cooler, so you have to pay for the cooler stuff.
Yeah, which is fun. All right. And that's it for our deep dive this week. Now we move to our audience questions and feedback. Remember, if you wanna have your burning questions answered here on the podcast, you can write us down or our email address down in the description below if you are on YouTube, or you can write us down in any of our Twitter accounts, or you can find us in any other forums and the Discord that we operate and everything else, and you can communicate however you want with us and we will answer your questions. We check everywhere before finishing these scripts or the content that we do. So the first question of this week is the looking for group feature a standard in MMOs?
In modern MMOs, for sure it is.
For sure it is.
Has it been?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I feel that it should be a standard, as we discussed before, for the majority of.
I mean, again, it is a standard for like modern MMOs.
Yeah, correct.
Like it depends how you define a standard. Like, has it been there always for all MMOs? No, because there were technological restrictions in the past. There are a lot of MMOs in the past that just couldn't afford it in their current state. So but it's like if you want an MMO to feel like modern, I guess it needs that.
A little far. Yeah.
In my opinion.
In our opinion, even like because of our complaint with Destiny last episode, that we told that the game will really benefit for looking for group inside the game.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this and like, oh man, even Division 2 has looking for group. They have matchmaking and they have looking for group inside the game for the raid in an easier version, in a looking for group version. They don't have custom looking for group inside the game,
which is something that they could improve.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking a little bit about this. I don't know how much of these restrictions comes from that these games have to work for consoles as well.
you have a point there. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I didn't think about that because I mainly play on PC, but I don't know how hard are these things to implement for consoles.
Yeah.
And how restrictive the different consoles are.
Yeah.
Because when you're developing for a console, you have to abide by the rules of
the piece of machinery.
Yeah, not only a machinery, but like Sony has a specific rulings for what you can do and you cannot do when you're developing for PlayStation.
You're right. They have their own.
Microsoft have the same thing. Nintendo has the same thing. They have rules that you have to abide by.
Yeah, but what you can post or not post and that sort of stuff, and
yeah. So I don't know. It's just, and for example, all of them have their own community hubs.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation has its own community thing. Xbox has its own community thing. So it since basically they want to push those things, it may be as well that they don't allow those because they want people to be using their proprietary community stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's too risky for give that control to a player of posting whatever they want, and
it could be that. It just when you're developing for console, there are a lot of risks.
Yeah, there could be that. Yeah, you make a good point there.
It could come from that place, but I still think it will really benefit.
Yep, I agree with you. Anyways, our second question of the week where does the joy of a hard game come from? Or how do you explain the love for Dark Souls style of games?
I don't know.
Referring to our discussion of Torghast being hard.
For me, I mean, I don't like the Dark Souls type of games that much, to be honest. Yeah. I think the only that falls into that category is Monster Hunter. But again, Dark Souls should be a Monster Hunter type of game.
Okay.
Because Monster Hunter came first.
Just because Monster Hunter came first. So it shouldn't be a Dark Souls style. It should be a Monster Hunter style.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying. The thing is, like, Monster Hunter doesn't punish you that much for dying.
It doesn't punish you that much for dying.
Yeah.
It doesn't really.
Yeah.
Like, even failing a mission is not that bad. But, I mean, you still waste the time.
And some resources if you prepare for the mission.
Yeah. You wasted some resources and some time.
Yeah.
It is one of those things that it feels punishing in the middle of the game for Monster Hunter, not at the end.
What it refers is like
is the same.
Yeah, what it feels like that dead state when in Torghast, for example, if you run out of lives, you just kicked out and that's it. You didn't get any rewards.
But you didn't lose anything. You just lost time.
Yeah, you lost time. It's just I don't know.
You like in Torghast, you don't lose resources. You don't lose anything.
Yeah, I think the question is more like where does your joy from playing hard modes or something like that, or punishing modes, comes from for you, for us, I guess.
I mean, it is, as I said before, for me, it's about exploring the kit that I have at my hand and how do I use that kit to solve.
For you, it's a puzzle
that I have in front of me.
For you, it's a puzzle.
You can think it as a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's just how it is the kind of thing that the game is pushing you to look. Just to think outside of the box to which tools do you have at your disposal.
Yep.
To be successful. That's what I find appealing.
Yeah, you appreciate the challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a mechanical challenge.
Correct.
Because it's not like for example in Torghast, it's not like I can. Like at some point, what I was enjoying is not, can I do my rotation better? No, it's just what tools do I have to make this actually happen?
Yeah.
It's not about performing my rotation, but like, okay, which things do I have to stun? Things do I have to kite? It's more about using those tools and, I'm better at rotation. So my enjoyment is not from the mechanical gain.
Yeah.
And that's, for example, what I like Sword and Shield in Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
No, it's because it's not like that weapon specific is not that.
It's not about the mechanics of the weapon.
It is. I mean, you have to be good with the mechanics in the same sense that you have to be good with the rotation in WoW.
Yeah. The mechanics of that weapon is not as complex.
But it's like, it is interesting that you have to think, which things do I have in my, what traps do I have? That's, for example, why I like heavy wagons in Monster Hunter as well.
Yeah.
It's because, which ammunition do I have? Can I slip it? Can I stun it? Do I have to craft more ammunition? So you have all these things to think about, like how many resources do I have to be prepared with? Is that what I enjoy? Is that how I use the tool? It's not the mechanical challenge.
There you go. Sometimes for me it's like I appreciate the challenge because you feel that fulfillment at the end of the challenge that is presented to you. That's at least my explanation for why the Dark Souls size of games work. It's like a thing to overcome, and the satisfaction from that is always feels good.
Yeah. No, for me it's more about how do you overcome it.
And it differs from person to person what they find attractive from that type of challenge.
Yeah, because for example, for me, overcoming it just by brute force is not as fun.
Yeah, like some of our kills in the raid.
Yeah, it is like it happened, but
yeah.
But you brute, like you didn't use the tools that you have. Well, that's the point then. In my opinion. But.
Fair enough. All right, and that's it, my friend.
That's all for this week's episode.
Indeed.
Once again, thanks for tuning into The Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. My name is Lucho. You can find me on Twitter at @thesweatyandthefarmer.
And I am the Long Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at @thelongngamer. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, click the notification bell if you wanna get notified for our amazing content. Tell everybody that you're listening to this awesome podcast. We're everybody, Spotify, Apple Music. We're everywhere that you want us to listen to us. We are in YouTube if you want to watch us. You want to see our beautiful faces.
Yes.
Yes. And thank you for doing everything social that you do, for all the support and everything else. We love you. We're looking for feedback we're always looking for feedback to do this content better for you guys. So communicate however you want to us. But thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to The Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. See you next time.
Bye.
And did you know? Though typically the flesh of a honeydew melon is green, it can sometimes be orange. This type of honeydew is often referred to as the temptation melon. Do you get tempted by the melon?
No.
No? Does the melon like strip in yourself and make you a little dance so you can eat it?
No.
No, you don't have fantasies with melons?
No.
All right, are you sure?
I am very sure. Honeydew did not reach Europe until the late 15th century. It was grown in glass houses during the winter in colder climate country. And honeydew was a great favorite of the French Emperor Napoleon.
So if you eat a lot of melon, you will become a dictator? Or a conqueror, to
Maybe.
be exact?
That it is possible.
It is possible. It is. So what is your favorite type of melon? Apparently there is a bunch of different types.
It's a bunch of types. No, I really like just the regular ass.
Just the regular normal melon.
Yeah.
I wonder if they name it this honeydew melon because it tastes like honey.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it does taste like honey.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow. I want more. I really want to taste this melon. I'm gonna go find out and find for temptation melon. See if it makes me